is just audio, not video, right?
Hold on, I'm gonna.
This is the whole deal, audio and video. And you're with
Oh.
ReggaeSteadySka.com. I'm your host, Charles Benoit. You're about to meet your new favorite band. And I think some of you with a good memory in the Philly area might say, hey, wait, they were my favorite band back in 95. Of course, I'm talking about the Lids. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today.
Great to
Thank
be
you,
here.
Charles.
great pleasure.
Take us back. You guys, as I said, you guys have like a abbreviated history. You had a back then, and then you had a middle area, and then you have a now. Take us back to the back then, the early parts of the band and how you got together.
Yeah, well, we were all students at the University of Pennsylvania, and
I guess maybe you should introduce everybody. I guess I should have done
no, happy to. We're the Lids.
We're the Lid.
that. And did they come with names?
Sure. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I'm
Names are
Jeremy.
important.
Jeremy Fish, drummer.
I'm Gerald, lead singer.
I'm Bart, trumpet player.
And we're missing a couple people.
We're
We
missing a
are.
couple people. One of our
We're missing
members,
that.
I think, may not actually have internet access, or it might be like dial-up. We're not really able to raise him.
John is in the mountains somewhere. So, yeah.
And you also have Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron's our bass player. And we
Luke,
have Luke,
no, no, no.
our guitar player and also vocals.
Yep.
Fantastic. So now, jump us back. Now we know the band. We've met them. Tell us about it, Jeremy. How'd you guys get together back in your college days?
Yeah.
Which was like,
well,
what, about a year ago?
Good. Yes. Do you work at the carnival guessing people's age? Because you should. Yeah. So we were, I guess it was my junior year, and the music scene, I guess, as it were, at Penn was pretty lacking. There were some cover bands. There was one original band who preceded us by a number of years called the Hooters that had a big hit in the 80s. But as far as like musical output, Penn was pretty weak. I mean, Donald Trump went there, so if that gives you any idea of like the type of people that the school turns out. Anyway, so I think I met some guy who was a trombone player randomly, and it just got me thinking, like, it just kind of brought me back to the ska days. Because like this was all going on sort of before the third wave. So it's like early 90s, when I guess all those third wave bands were together, but they hadn't broken nationally, like the Bosstones hadn't broken nationally or anything like that. And so it just kind of occurred to me, I guess, like this music, like it really has to happen here. Like like a college campus is a fantastic environment for ska music. And so it kind of started from there. And I guess Bart and I had met each other, and I think it was kind of you and I that had sort of started talking about it, like hatched the idea.
We met at a party.
Yeah.
So I was a freshman and was at a fraternity party that you were at, and the reason why I was there was this kid on my hallway was a sax player, and he's from Boston, and he was, huge ska fan, and we should put together a ska band. And we found out that he was absolutely awful on the saxophone. So he existed for one rehearsal, and then that was it. But also that rehearsal was our sax player, John Cole, and Gerald was at that rehearsal too. And then you knew about Aaron and Luke, right, Jeremy?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing was I'd seen Gerald a year before at some party where I guess a band had played or something like that. And the band was finished. The party was over. Like everybody got home. Gerald was wandering around like lost. And he picked up the mic and he was toasting in the mic. and I was like, oh shit, that's cool. That guy's really, really good. And so I just whatever filed that away. And then I saw him down at the track. He was doing some hurdles or pole vaulting or something like that. And I stopped him and I was like, hey, I remember seeing you last year. Just totally accosted him out of nowhere. And I'm like,
caught me completely off guard. I was like, who is this guy? What does he want?
Yeah, exactly. But I got his number, and and then Luke, who may or may not be joining us today. Luke was our guitar player. He'd been around in a band or two. Like me, he was from California and had and I think that's what kind of got things started, was because when I was growing up, like in middle school, the two-tone bands were huge. And like everybody had the Specials album, and everybody was into the English beat, whatever
right.
you can say about them. And then that kind of died down. But then I was into the punk scene too a little bit when I was a kid, and so I saw Op Ivy a couple times at Gilman, and so it was always there.
So just to interject there. So I lived in London from 79 to 81, and
got
that was
the
definitely
shit.
a time of Madness, the Specials, Selector, the Beat. They were all very popular at that time.
So just so we can clarify here, Gerald, you were in London during the two-tone era, and right now you're calling in from Munich, Germany.
Correct.
Okay, just rubbing it in that you've been everywhere and doing everything, but that's okay. That's all right. I think it was very important that he noticed your pole vaulting skills, because it's universally known that the best ska singers are pole vaulters, and so I was glad you were able to bring that
before,
in.
Yeah, I have seen that.
What did you, when you first started with the band, what did you want to bring into that scene?
So, first off, as I recall, I'd been singing in a cover band actually, and like Jeremy said, I was down the track, and he approached me and was just saying, "Hey, we're starting a ska band. Do you want to join?" I was kind of like, what the hell? Sure, why not? And I just remember having a first rehearsal. There weren't many rehearsals. We have to say that up front. I think we had 3 or 4 in our whole career.
We were like the rehearsed live kind of band.
Exactly.
Like rehearsed.
You just cranked out hits.
As the Germans say, learning by doing. And that's kind of how we came to be. That we had what I had to bring to it was, so I had also lived in Jamaica in '86.
Of course you did.
A lot of I did. So I had a lot of experience with reggae music, and I had been.
Hey, Charles, if you want to take this offline and just speak directly with Gerald, Art and I are happy to.
So I had been listening to things like Tiger and Buju Banton and a bunch of other reggae, and so when he said ska band, I actually wasn't fully sure what the difference was with ska and reggae. For me, it was sort of an overlap. So my goal was just sort of to bring in a mix of that plus my own character and bring that in.
You have a live album out that's on Bandcamp that was recorded back in the day. Would you say that absolutely captures your sound at the time? Was it tell us a little bit about that.
So yeah, I think that definitely captures the sound. So we were basically, we very quickly became a pretty popular band at the University of Pennsylvania, and always had a huge following. And so our live shows were really a lot of fun, a lot of jumping, screaming fans, and just the energy that we had and that the audience had really came through. And I think in those recordings, it was also.
Is that how you guys remember it?
Yeah, I mean, it was fast. I mean, we went from, having the first rehearsal, and I do remember the 2 songs that we practiced at that rehearsal was Plowshares into Guns and
Was it Rudy?
Was it Rudy at that first? Yeah. And then the next week we had a rehearsal. We wrote like 6 songs, had a gig that night, killed it at the gig, had to play some of the songs 2 or 3 times. and people went nuts. And then it was like crazy from then on. Every weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, playing parties. I was making good money in bars at age 18, which was pretty fantastic. And yeah, it was the people knew all of the words, all of the words. I didn't even know some of the words.
To expand on
They
that, it was
knew
funny.
all the words. They knew all the words. And we had a guy who was sort of our de facto manager, who was like a, you know, like a low-level audiophile, and he recorded everything on DAT, and he recorded every show. And so I have tapes somewhere up in my attic of some of the shows, but the album, a lot of that stuff came from Mike's recordings, and you do get, they're live recordings, so you do hear the audience. You hear us yelling, cursing, acting silly. It was loose. The most, I mean, I think I've been in dozens of bands since then, and to this day, it's the most fun band I've ever been in.
It was.
Well,
And the
go ahead,
mistakes, I mean, those riddled with mistakes, because we had, I mean, I'm not even gonna call them mistakes, because it was part of the fun. Like, we were literally rehearsing in front of an audience. We just had like the skeleton of the song, and you know.
Yeah, to expand on that, I think our beginning was really funny because, as I said, I think we had, you know, I think we had 4 songs on a day when somebody came and said, "Hey, we have a gig tonight." And I'm like, "What? We don't even have enough songs." So we had a rehearsal, wrote 3 or 4 more songs in a 2 or 3 hour period of rehearsal. I had all the lyrics written down and stuck in my back pocket. So basically, I would look at the paper, turn around from the audience, look at the paper, turn back to the audience, sing the verse I remembered, turn around again.
you know, that's it's pretty remarkable, because I think that live album on the Bandcamp is a lot of fun to listen to, and I love it, warts and all, because it really does capture a sense of energy that you don't get from a lot of shows. They kind of weed that stuff out, and I wouldn't have changed a thing on that. I think it's a brilliant album. But then you guys took some time off, because here we are, what is it, like 20, 30 years later, and now you're coming back together. At that time, you were all in Philly and it was easy to get together. Now you are literally, Jeremy, you're on the West Coast. Brent, you're still in Philly. Gerald, right now you're in Munich. Who knows an hour from now? But why now, when it seems more impossible than ever to get everybody together?
So I'll start the answer, and Jeremy, you can take up the slack. So for me, it seems like a great time because I've been using COVID to get in contact with a lot of people from the past. So Zoom calling has become the thing. So I've gotten in contact with friends from the 4th grade, people from all around the world, and so then we also organized a Lids Zoom call many months ago, where all of us were on the call, and then Jeremy got the idea. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was like a month into COVID or something, a couple weeks into COVID, when everyone was collectively sort of taking stock of their lives. And uh, I had 2 band reunions actually. Uh, no offense to you guys, or anything, you guys are always my favorite, but yeah, but it was just an interesting time. And yeah, and then personally, like, I actually wasn't aware that it wasn't 1994 anymore. Like, the years, I don't even know what happened. Uh, but I have a music studio in my basement, and Luke, our guitar player, I think has a home rig as well, and all this stuff is, you know, it's certainly more affordable, and the whole recording thing is just so much more democratized.
Well, speaking of, that's great. That's a great segue into the song you just re-released, a re-recording of Liberty, which the lyrics certainly seem to fit right now, probably more than they did back in '94. It's a powerful song. What's a little background on that?
Who wants to take a stab at that one? I think that was our first song.
It's the first song on the live version too.
It was our first original song that we wrote.
Yeah, you know
Was
what
it
that
really
was?
the very first one? I remember laughing when it was probably, I think it was you, Gerald, said, "Take me to the place where no one gives a shit." And I'm like, what kind of lyric is that? And then we just laughed. I think we were laughing and we were like, well, screw it, that stays in. And
No,
people,
that lyric came from Luke though.
oh, it did? It
I
did? Okay.
think, I think what this was is Luke and I felt displaced at Penn because we were the overall vibe of the place just didn't really match what we had experienced growing up in California. And I think that was Luke being pissed off that his parents, sent him off to like the elite East Coast Ivory Tower. And he's like, "Get me the fuck out of here. I want to be back in California." I think that was what that song was actually about.
Man, yeah, that was like, I mean, there's multiple songs about California, the Bay Area, Marin County. It was definitely like, not, I don't want to say a homesick vibe, but like, it was like, this is not a, and I think that's one of the reasons too. Like when you guys graduated, I was still a student having a lot of fun, and the band effectively destroyed my pre-med career. So I wanted it to keep going, but you guys are like, no. Luke went back to California to, reunite with his band, and then they blew up on MTV and everything. You guys were ahead of me, so you had places to go and stuff to do, and I was, left.
Well, as they often say, that ska saves lives because it keeps people like me out of medical school. So, hey, let's get down to the important thing here. Where can people listen to this music and rediscover the excitement of the 90s and the new stuff you're bringing now?
Oh, hey, Luke is in the waiting room here.
He is. Let's get him in here and make him.
Yeah,
I'll throw a tough question his way as soon as we get him in here.
And Bart, the reason we all left you was because of that funky smell.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're connecting up with Luke right now. And the band said that he would be the one that would describe the deep philosophical origins of the band and also explain the metaphysical connections between the band and current zeitgeist. Luke,
we actually,
that's right.
Been sitting in here staring at Charles, not actually talking, just waiting for you. So
yeah, we had nothing to say.
That'd be great.
It sounds like it with that question that Charles wouldn't be saying much, and that you four would just be sitting here in complete silence. So I'm happy to be here. Sorry I'm late.
The band has shared different reasons why they, the origin stories of the band and what it was like getting together. Bring us one memory you recall from back in the day that pretty much sums up for you the Lids experience.
Oh gosh. So many great moments. I think, like the best experience for me was drinking 1.5 40s and then getting on a stage in front of a festival crowd and playing our hype party music and just seeing people go nuts. That really was the culmination of about how many, we probably practiced for a total of 3 hours. So it made it all worthwhile. We wrote all the songs in one day and practiced twice, and that really brought it all together.
You can't get any better than that.
Yeah.
Just for time wise, I've got to wrap this up because Zoom's telling me I have to. Where can people get that music right now? Where can they get that live stuff that you recorded before, and where can they get the re-recordings that you're working on now?
Yeah, we're on Spotify. We made it into the 2000s. So
Amazon Music too, because I don't do Spotify, and I know it's on Amazon Music because I checked it out.
I've been looking on MySpace, but I haven't found it yet.
I think I'm still on there, man.
How about you?
We might have a
Luke?
MySpace.
Where do you suggest people look?
I mean, it's on all of the streaming services now. It should be, but yeah, I think there's one YouTube video where you can catch about 15 seconds of us playing from a party back in 1994 or something. So that would be a good Easter egg to go hunting for.
we have a Facebook, which is
Oh yeah.
the Lids Philly Ska is what that one's called.
Yeah, 2 Ds, LIDDS.
That's right. Yep.
Like this.
Right above
Yep.
Gerald's helping us out.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, I've got to say thank you very much on behalf of everybody from ReggaeSteadySka.com. I've been Charles Benoit. The Lids are your new favorite band. You're going to leave immediately after this video. Go track down their sounds. Gerald's probably going to check his passport to see where he's off to next. And I look forward to seeing more of you guys real soon. So thank you very much.
Thanks,
a lot,
Charles.
Thanks, Charles. See ya.